Hello, Abe. How are
Uh,
you?
Okay, how are you?
Yeah, I can't look at your face. My God.
I'm gonna be like Moshe Rabbeinu. We'll put a mask on.
Say it again.
What? I said I have to put a mask on like Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah, it hurts me more than it hurts you. Trust me.
What, you had some surgery?
Yeah, I had this a little cancer spot there, so they cut it
I,
out.
I don't understand why there, the black
I
and
don't know.
blue.
He said it was close to the eye, so like I don't know. That's
Hmm.
what happens.
Yeah, it'll go away.
Everything goes away.
Hmm.
Every-
So let's see. Mario,
Yeah,
good morning. So I'm pl the Yontif is Thursday and Friday.
yeah.
I don't have Yontif
No, no,
Friday.
no. Yontif is, yeah,
Thursday.
Thursday and Friday. Yeah, I'm
Wednesday night.
sorry.
Wednesday night.
Yeah,
Now I don't have Yontif Friday,
I
but that
know.
doesn't help anybody because nobody's going to be listening to you guys have Yontif. Okay. So what I think I'd like to do is teach tomorrow morning, right?
Okay.
Tomorrow morning, that means Tuesday morning. For you, it's Monday night there, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
At what
So I'd like to
time?
teach, like we've been learning at 8 in the morning,
Got it.
Okay.
Tuesday at 8 in the morning. And then we'll learn Tuesday night, regular time, 9 o'clock. And then we'll learn Wednesday morning. So at least we'll catch up
Tuesday 8 a.m. and Tuesday 9 p.m.,
AM and Wednesday 8 a.m.
8
because I can
a.m.
still teach um, 6 p.m. Yeah.
Yes, 8 o'clock. Oh, no.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, for
yes.
me, it's 6
Yes.
p.m. Yontif doesn't start until 6:30, so I'm fine.
Okay. And
Okay.
then the next one will be Motzei Shabbos, right?
Yes, exactly. So at least we'll have learned Thursday's blot. We'll be on target.
Yeah.
We'll have taken care of Thursday's blot. So we just have Friday and Shabbos blot, and that maybe we could try to do Motzei Shabbos, or between Motzei Shabbos and Sunday,
Yeah,
we'll
okay.
catch up the blot.
When are you coming back?
We have a real problem. My flight got canceled.
Oh,
Flight got canceled Sunday night. I had a flight Sunday night, canceled. And there is a flight Monday night, but I'm not booked on it. You understand?
oh,
They're so behind with
yes,
getting people back home that
yeah.
people who were canceled last week are getting on that flight. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get out via Europe. I'm trying maybe Saturday night I can get a flight to Rome or to Athens. It's I have patience Monday.
Oh, boy.
It's just
Ernie, you want me to go in for you? I can go in for you.
you once did. I once gave you a jacket. You made rounds with me.
Yeah, that's
Remember?
right. Okay.
Dr. Feinblum at the Robert F. Kennedy
Yeah,
Hospital,
RFK, you're right.
RFK. It
Yeah, I remember.
was a good hospital.
Okay, Walter, so that you
Wa-
know,
Walter,
tomorrow
we're going to
morning,
learn
tomorrow night, and Wednesday morning.
exactly. So
Tomorrow night, what time? 9 o'clock?
tomorrow morning at 8 in the morning, and then 9 o'clock at night as well. And then Wednesday will be 8 o'clock in the morning.
Hold on. Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, 9 p.m. And
Mhm.
then Wednesday morning will also be at 8 a.m.
I will send a message, Walter.
Thank you. You'll send me a message
And
because,
hang on, and then Walter will learn Motzei Shabbos. That's the next time we can learn.
Yes.
okay. But
We'll have learned Thursday's blot because by doing this extra blot, so we'll have had to cover we'll have to cover Friday and Shabbos on Motzei Shabbos,
And Motzei Shabbos will be at 9 p.m.
9 p.m. exactly.
unless you're flying.
Yeah, Walter, my flight is canceled.
I know we spoke about it.
Yeah, we spoke about it.
Okay,
It's
Ernie,
abroad.
I think you should go private. Take your own jet. What's the problem?
I would love to do that. Okay. Where did we leave off? We're on Ayin or on Pei?
76b at the new chapter, the
Okay.
Mishnah.
Oh, I see. New parak.
Yes.
Hatoda haisaboch hamesh so'in Yerushalmios. Shehein sheish midborios. Korban Toda is a shlomim. A regular shlomim was eaten for 2 days and 1 night. A korban toda is a special kind of shlomim that is brought whenever we make a birchas hagomel, when you are healed from a sickness, when you get out of prison, when you come back from a long trip. So then you brought a korban toda. It was a shlomim. The difference was you could only eat it for 1 day. And you had to bring 40 loaves of challah and matzah, we'll see how that works, along with the shlomim. You're going to ask me, why was the korban toda different, that it was only eaten for 1 day instead of 2 days? The idea is, in essence, it was like a sudas hodah, because you were either saved from an illness or something that you're thanking Hashem for. And in a sense, you're making a sudas hodah. And 40 loaves is a massive amount of bread. There's no way that you and your family can eat that by yourself, particularly if you only have 1 day to eat it. So they reduced it from 2 days to 1 day so that you would invite many people to partake in this Suda Soda with you. That's the machshava behind the Korban Toda. Now, a sa'a is a measurement, like a bushel or a pound, right? And the Torah, we'll see, gives us an instruction on how much flour are you supposed to take to make these lachme toda. So the ephah was the measurement. Now, the ephah, when they were in the Midbar, was smaller than the ephah that was used in Yerushalayim. We're going to see that it was increased by a fifth, 20%. They increased the size of the saw when they came to Yerushalayim. So, and it's from ilagav, it's from the outside. It means by adding, you end up, if you start off with 5 and you add 20%. So now 1 out of 6 is going to be, it's a shasus, but it's really 20%. And therefore, if it was made from 5 Yerushalmi saws, it was really 6 midbar ephahs. Because of I just explained, they increased the size. Ha'ephah shalosh sa'in. The ephah was 3 saw. Each ephah were 3 saws based on the midbar. And Esrim Isaron, each ephah was 10 Isaron. So the 2 ephahs were 20 Isaron. So basically, an Isaron is 1/10 of an ephah. And now what did he do with the 20? Asar lachametz, 10 esronos were baked into chametz loaves, and 10 were baked into matzah loaves. Now, the matzah loaves, there were 3 types of matzah loaves. So there were 30 loaves made. 3 types of matzah. We'll see in a minute what types they were. 10 each. So you have 30. So 30 of the loaves made of matzah, they didn't let them leaven, were made out of 10 isronos. And 10 isronos were made to bake 10 chametz loaves. Right? Asar l'chametz. Right? 10 loaves of chametz, isar l'challah. Each challah was made out of 1 isaron. We said an isaron is 1/10 of an ephah. We said an ephah is 3 saw. Asar l'matzah. Right? And 10 were used to make the matzah loaves. Uva matzah shalosh minin, chalois. So we have to think about it. It's a matzah. It's matzah, but it's a loaf. It's not a loaf like what our challahs look like. It doesn't rise. Then there was rikikin. Rikikin are wafers. So the loaf, the matzah loaf, was a little thicker. Think about a thick matzah and a very thin matzah. That's challahs versus rikikin. And then one is a revucha. Revucha was first boiled in water, then fried. Sounds like a donut, except it was a matzah. They didn't let it leaven. So, nimtzu shloisha esroinim ushlish l'chol min v'min. You need 3 1/3 chales, 3 1/3 rikikin, 3 1/3 revucha. So therefore, shalosh chalosh li'isoron. So there were each isoron made 3 chales for 1 isoron. Now we're going to quickly switch to the Yerushalmi measure. V'mida Yerushalmi is hayushloishim kav. A kav was 1/6 of a saw. So I'm going to say it's like 1.5 to 2.5 liters each saw. So these are very large amounts. So but the Yerushalmi measure, hayushloishim kav, it was 30 kav. Chamisha asar l'chametz, 15 for chametz, v'chamisha asar l'matzah. Chamisha asar l'chametz, kav u'mechza l'chala, 1.5 kavs for each chala, and chamisha asar l'matzah, v'matzah sholish minin. Again, the matzah was made out of chalas, rikikin, and revucha. Nimtzu chameshes kav l'chol min u'min. 5 kav per min, right? Or 5 kav for chala, 5 kav for rikikin, 5 kav for revucha. Ushtei chalos l'kav. 2 chalas for each kav. Okay. The Gemara. Where did you get this? Amar of Chizdar Damarkra. Ha'efa v'habas. And this is a pasuk in Yechezkel. There's a measurement called the ephah, and then there's a measurement called the bas. And this pasuk says the bas and the ephah are the same thing. Tochen echad yelachem. Ma bas sholosh soim. Now, how do we know that a bas is shalosh soin? We don't yet. But they knew that the bas was 3 saw, af ephah shalosh soin. That's how we got this concept that the ephah was 3 saw. Remember, we said a kav, there were 6 kavs to a saw. And we said a kav is we said, let's say 2 liters, right? So you're talking about 18 liters for a saw. And so the ephah was 60 liters of flour. You understand? You see what a large amount we're talking about? Okay. So the Gemara wants to know, how do we know what the size of the bas was? Bas gufa minolon. Ilem midichtiv. Laseis meiser hachoimer habas. That the bas is a tenth, because meiser is a tenth of a choimer. Efa nami haksiv vasiris hachoimer ha'efa. That a tenth of a choimer was an ephah. So right away we can see that the bas and the ephah were the same. Except we're trying to find out what the absolute volume we're talking about. We don't know what the chomer is. El chomer lo yadana kama. El chanami lo yadana kama. We've said both the bas and the ephah were a tenth of a chomer, but we don't know what the chomer is. So that is not a useful road to go down to try to establish how much volume we're talking about. Elamehacha. Another pasuk in Yechezkel. V'chok hashemen abas hashemen u'meiser habas min hakor aseres abatim chomer ki aseres abatim chomer. Right, 10 batim or 1 chomer. And now we have a connection to the core. Now we know a core has 30 saw. That we understood. So now we know there's 30 saw in a chomer, and we said that the ephah and the bas were a tenth of that. So we know that there's 3 saw in a bas or 3 saw in an ephah. That's the calculation. Amr Shmuel. Ein moisifna lamidos yoser mishisus. When they came to Yerushalayim, they wanted to increase the measurement. And if you're going to do it, you can't do it more than a sixth. V'lo ala matbea yoser mishisus. If they wanted to, let's say, increase the value of a coin, you can't do it more than a third. V'amistaker lo yistaker yoser mishisus. Somebody who's in business and is making profit, you can't make profit more than a sixth. My time. Because of inflation and all the prices are going to go up. So even a sixth, we shouldn't raise it, because that's certainly going to cause inflation. Is it because the din in sales is, if you've overcharged by a sixth, you can reverse the sale and say it's the mekach batel. Anything that is sold by measure, by weight, or by count, even if it's less than a sixth, you can cause mekach batel. So raising it by a sixth doesn't solve that problem either. So it's not because of inflation. It's not because of ono. So what's this? Why is it that we cannot, if we're going to change the currency or change the weights, you can't do it by more than a sixth? Elamishum tagra. It's for the merchant who's traveling from one place to another, comes to a new city, doesn't know that there's a new weight and measure, and you sell versus the old one, and he's not gonna make the same profit. Now, diana de lolimte, but revachal boy, fine. We're not allowed to have no, but he's allowed to make a profit. Nobody's in business to just sell for the same amount that you buy for. Zavin tagri ikri means you can't just sell and sell and sell without profit. You're not a tagra. You're not a businessman. So Now we come up that the reason you cannot raise the weights that Shmuel said, Ein moisif na lamidas yosem shisus, comes from a pasuk. Another pasuk in Yeshchezkel, Hashekel esrim geira, right? The shekel is 20 geira. Esrim shkolim chamisha, 20 shekel, ves chamish esrim shkolim, chamisha vesrim shkolim, 25 shkolim. Asara, 10 shekel, v'chamisha shekel, hamana yelachem. That's the mana. Now, if you add this all up, it's 60 shekel. Now, we know from Chumash that every shekel was 4 dinar. And a mana is supposed to be 100 dinar. But if it's 60 shekel, you're going to end up that a mana is 240 dinar, not 100 dinar. El shmamina tlas. So we learned 3 things from this. Shmamina, mana shel kodesh kaful haya. A mana, when it relates to the base of Mikdash, was not 100, but was 200 dinar. Ushmamina moisifna lamidos. And when Yechezkel said that the mana will be 60, not 50, that's the concept. You went up by 10. So it's an extra 20%. In the end, though, you went from 50 to 60. That's why they call it a shasus, a 6, but it's really 20%. Ushmamina shasusa milabar, right? And the 6 is from the final sum, right? You look at the final number, and that's a 6, but really you increased it by 20%. Okay. So that's where they came up with this shasus, the 6th. And Amar Ravina Masnisa Namideka. Our Mishnah is consistent with this diktani. Toda, Haisa bo chamesh so'im, Yushami, Shehein Sheish Midbarios. Same thing. When they increased the measurement from the Midbar to Yushami, they did it it went from 5, the 6, Midbarios went to 5, Shmami no. So they increased it by a 6. Okay. Mishnah. Mikulam. Now, we discussed that we prepare 4 types of loaves. 3 of them were matzah. 1 of them was chametz. The 3 matzah we said were chalos, rekikin, revuchin. The other ones were chalos, but made out of matzah. And you had 10 of each, right? So you have 40. 10 of each. But mikulam hayanoitel echad masar truma. They would give to the kohen a 10th of each of the group of 10. So the kohen would get 4, right? 1 matzah loaf, 1 chametz loaf, and 3 matzah loaves, right? 1 loaf from the rikikin, 1 loaf from the matzah challah, 1 loaf from the revuchin matzah, and 1 from the chametz. Shenemar. V'ikriv mimenu echad mikol korban truma l'Hashem. Echad, you got to give him a whole loaf. Shlo yitol pros. You can't give him a piece. You got to give him the whole loaf. Mikol korban, sheyukol korban shavos. They all have to be 10. Shlo yitol mikorban al chaveri. You don't take 2 from 1 to cover the other one. La kohen azorekas dam shlomim lo yeh v'ashar nechol abal. The remaining 36 loaves were eaten by the owner of the korban toda that brought the korban toda. So the person and the family would eat 36 of the loaves. The kohen was given 4 of the loaves. It's one of the other matnois kahuna. The kohen was given the zroa, the l'chaim, the keva. The kohen is given all sorts of matanos.
And then
This is
it
one
all
of
have to be eaten in one day?
They all have to be eaten in one day.
Oh.
So the kohen could eat the 1 challah. He was given the 4 challahs, but the other 36 had to be eaten also in one day. The kohen also, it's not just the kohen and his family. Okay. Tana Rabbana. V'ikriv mimenu min hamuvchar, min hamechuber. They have to be together in one place. Echad shlo yitol pros. He shouldn't take a piece. He had to take the whole loaf. You call it korban. You should call it korban shabbos. They have to be equal. You can't take 2 loaves from one group and no loaves from the other. From that, the Gemara says, I don't know how many loaves he gets. I read that. Nemar kan truma, the nemar betrumas meiser truma. It says when the Levi was given meiser, he had to give truma to the kohen from his meiser. There, it's a tenth. Malahalan echad masara, afkan echad masara. So the Gemara is going to learn from a binyanav that here it says truma, it must be 1/10. Oh, klach l'derzu. Maybe we could learn a different way. Nemar kan truma v'nemar ba bikurin truma. Bikurim is like truma. Even chita achas poteres sakri. That means there's no shear for truma. We saw Bein Anias is 1/50th. Ayin Tova is 1/40th. Ayin Ra is 1/60th. There is no shear for truma, and bikurim is the same thing. And since bikurim are also called truma, malahalan ein lo shear, afkan ein lo shear. Maybe here there is no specific shear. You could give anything. So nira lemidoimes. So let's compare the lachme toda to either trumas meiser or to bikurim. Dan in truma she'en achrat truma. See, when you give bikurim, that doesn't complete. Bikurim are the first fruits. The farmer then has to take truma from all the remaining fruits. But the Levi, once he gives trumas meiser, he's done. So done in truma she'en achrat truma. Mi truma she'en achrat truma. Once you give the truma of the lachmei toda to the kohen, that's it. There's no more truma. So that has more similarity to trumas meiser of the Levi. And we're not going to learn it from bikurim because the farmer has to give truma from all the remaining crops. The bikurim are just the first fruits of his crops. Oh, klach l'derech su. We have another way of going. Dan in truma nechelas b'mokum kadosh. The mincha has to be eaten. You can't take it into Tel Aviv. You can eat it anywhere in Yerushalayim. So dan in truma nechelas b'mokum kadosh mi truma nechelas b'mokum kadosh. The bikurim are also, the din is you have to eat it in Yerushalayim. Val tochech trumas ma'asher shenechelas mikol makom. The Levi lives in Tel Aviv. You give meiser to the Levi in Tel Aviv. The Levi in Tel Aviv gives trumas meiser to the kohen in Tel Aviv, and he can eat it in Tel Aviv. There's no din at trumas meiser. When you give truma to a kohen, there's no specified place where he has to eat that. Kohanim lived all throughout Eretz Yisrael. They lived on truma. Truma is not, we know, for example, meiser sheni has to be eaten in Yerushalayim. Kochim have to be eaten in Yerushalayim. So since lachmei toda come along with the korban shlomim, they have to be eaten in Yerushalayim. Bikurim, right? We know. Bikurim were brought up to Yerushalayim in baskets. To Yerushalayim. Bikurim has to be eaten in Yerushalayim. So therefore, the Gemara has an argument that maybe the amount of truma for the lachmei toda should be comparable to bikurim, because they have to be eaten in a specific place. Talmud loimer mimenu trumas lashem. Uksiv betrumas meiser mimenu truma. So the word mimenu and truma are found in both places. Therefore, we make a gzera shava. Lamadnu l'truma shehi echad masara. So just like, so we learn that the truma that is discussed by the lachmei toda has to be 1/10. Aval eni yodeh mikama hichala. That still doesn't tell me how much flour is needed to make each challah. Reinu dan nemar kan lechem. The nemar lahalam b'shtei lechem lechem. It says by the lachmei toda lechem, And it says by the loaves brought on Shavuos with the shtei chavosim, shtei lechem. Malahalan isar lechala. There, a tenth of an ephah was used for each challah. Avkan isar lechala. That's why you needed one ephah, right? 10 esronos for matzah, and 10 is because we have two ephahs. The lachmei Torah were made out of two ephahs. An isaron is a tenth of an ephah. So each challah is one isaron. That gives us the volume. That's how the Mishnah knew what the volumes were. It learned it from these psukim. Oh, klaklu derzu. Nemar kan lechem and nemar lechem aponim lechem. It says lechem by the lachmei Toda. It says by the lechem aponim lechem. Malan and shtei esronos. There, each loaf is made out of two isarons, avkan shtei esronos, near lemidoma. So how can what is more comparable? Done in mincha bo chametz im hazevach, mi mincha bo chametz im hazevach. It makes more sense to compare the halachas of the lachmei Toda with chametz that comes along with a korban, which is the shtei alechem. Right? The shtei alechem is also baked chametz, and the shtei alechem came along with a korban. Al yochiach lechem aponim she'eino ba chametz mazevach. Number one, lechem aponim was not chametz at all; it was all matzah. And number two, the lechem aponim was offered as an independent mincha. You didn't bring it along with an animal korban. So far, the Gemara sees a closer connection between the lachmei Toda and the shtei alechem that's brought on Shavuos, and not with the lechem aponim. O klach l'derzu. Donin mincha ba me'eretz, l'chutz l'aretz. The lachmei Toda could come from grain that was in Eretz Yisrael or chutz l'aretz. Min ha'chodesh u'min ha'yoshan. Mi mincha ba me'eretz l'chutz l'aretz. Min ha'chodesh u'min ha'yoshan. Now, the lechem aponim also could come from any kind of grain. It didn't have to come from grain in Eretz Yisrael, and it didn't have to come from chodesh. Vayochichu shtei alechem she'ein bos ela min hachodesh u'min haaretz. Shtei alechem on Shavuos had to come like the oimer from chodesh and stuff from Eretz Yisrael. So in that respect, the lachmei Toda has more in common with the lechem aponim, and then it should be shtei esronos for each challah. So the Gemara has to resolve it by the pasuk. Talmud lemer mimosh leseichem taviu lechem tnufa shtayim. This is regarding the shtei alechem. She'ein Talmud lemer taviu. What do you need taviu? Umat Talmud lemer taviu shekol masha tamevi mimokom acher hareyu kazeh. And we darshan malahalan Yisrael challah. Just like by the shtei alechem, it's each challah was made out of a tenth of an ephah. Afkan by the lachmei Toda Yisrael l'challah. Imalahalan shtei esronos. Now the whole amount of the shtei alechem is 2 esronos. Afkan shtei esronos. Talmud lomer tiena. The tiena goes on each challah had to be 1 isar. And therefore, lamadnu asar l'chametz. So that tells me I need 10 esronos for the 10 loaves that are baked chametz. What about asar l'matzah minayin? How do I know that the remaining 30 loaves of matzah come from the remaining 10 isronos? Talmud loimer al chalos lechem chametz. Neged chametz have matzah. Exactly parallel to how much chametz you have to bring matzah. So you have 10, we've proved, for chametz. Now we've proved that you have to bring 10 for matzah. Nimtzu esrim esronos lachmei Toda. The total 40 loaves have to be from 20 esronos. Asar l'chametz, v'asar l'matzah. Now, I might think that these 30 loaves of matzah have to be from one man. Talmud Lomar, im al toda yakrivenu. If you're going to offer a toda, the ikriv al zevach toda chalos matzos blulos bashemen. That's the matzah made with oil, which is considered a loaf. Then urkike matzos meshuchim bashemen, the wafer, which is a matzah, like our matzahs, which are anointed with shemen. And then a third type, solas murbeches, fried. You mix it and then you boil it and then you fry it. Comes out, nimsu shloisha esronim ushlish l'chol min v'min. So you need 10 esronos for matzah, and you have 3 species. So you have 3 and a third for each species. Therefore, and you have shalosh chalos lisaron, right? Each isaron made up 3 chalas. V'nimsu lach metod arboim. That's how we came up with 40. Noitel men arbo v'noisel lakoin. Right? 1 is taken from each of the group of 10. V'ashar nechal mabalim. The remaining 36 are eaten by the balim. Omar mar. V'ikriv mimenu. Min ha-mechuber has to be taken as if they were connected. If the mimenu means it has to be connected, what do we say when you take the chaylev and you put it on the mizbeach? What does that mean? It means the fat and the meat of chatas has to be continuous, not cut up into pieces. First, you take the chaylev and the emurim, the innards, and then you cut up the meat. We learned that it has to be 10, a tenth, right, given to the kohen from trumas meiser. Neilef mi trumas Midian. When they conquered Midian, they also gave a truma, which was 1 in 500. So the Gemara says, "Danin trumas anoeges ledoros, mi truma anoeges ledoros." Trumas meiser to the Levi went on for generations. The truma that was taken from the booty of Midian only happened in the door of the midbar. Al tochech trumas Midian shein anoeges ledoros. Neilef mi trumas chala. Chala is the amount that you give the coin is 1/24th for when you make challah, when you take challah. And the Gemara wants to know why, when we say you have to give 1/10, maybe you have to give 1/24th, like challah. Tani very Shmuel, Dani Dover Shenemer Bo Mimenu Trumas Hashem, Mi Dover Shenemer Bo Trumas Lashem. Because by Trumas Meiser, it uses the same phraseology, Trumas Lashem. Lafuke Trumas Challah, Delo Nemer Bo Mimenu Trumas Lashem. It doesn't use the same phraseology by challah, therefore we don't take 1/24th. Boy Rava. Trumas Lachmei Toda. The truma that you have to give to the coin from the Lachmei Toda. Normally, when you separate truma from your grain and give to the kohen, a non-kohen is not allowed to eat it. And if you eat it, you get misa bidei shamayim, and you have to pay a fifth. So the shaila is, there's a non-kohen who eats the lachmei toda that were given to the kohen, which is the trumas lachmei toda. Chayav nalan misa v'chomesh or ein chayav misa v'chomesh? Do you get misa and pay the fine or not? Kiven diskish l'trumas meiser k'trumas meiser dami. Maybe it's treated like trumas meiser, and trumas meiser is real truma, and as a non-kohen who eats it would get the death penalty, not capital punishment, but misa b'dei shamayim. Oy dilma bo v'chamishi so mi'et rachmana. Maybe since it says bo, only by that case, by trumas meiser, do you get the death penalty, but not by trumas for lachmei toda. Also, we want to know midamas or midamas. If it gets mixed with chulin food to make it We have to sell it like Dema. We have to sell it with all the restrictions of Trumas and Meiser or not. So we leave it as take. Okay, we'll stop here. We start a new sugya. Okay, everybody. Very
Okay,
good.
Shkoyach, Ernie. It's tough.
Tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 in the
Okay.
morning.
O'clock in the morning. Okay. Okay. Have a good day, Ernie.
Thank you.